Welcome to a new What If. The What If is going to be called What If Deku was an entalodon? Now, I'm not sure if people can hear this, but I think I'm coming down with a sickness. My throat is raspy, so this will be a one shot, okay? Anyway, I've been thinking about letting people dislike if they want, okay? But if you find my videos genuinely interesting, I don't mind. Do what you do. Anyway, where should we start? Oh yeah. So we start off when Izuku Midoriya was fighting, Stain. During the fight, when Stain got punched by Izuku, he, how should I put this? Retaliated violently. As Izuku's hand was starting to break into tiny bits, inside-wise, Stain said, "I'm sorry, but yeah, this is the end." As he takes one of his swords and stabs Izuku in the gut. As Izuku basically, lowers his hand and Stain slices the sword down, making Izuku spill his guts on the floor. Ida is watching everything from here. He's practically traumatized at the sight. As Todoroki comes around the corner and says, "Hey guys, I heard the call from Midori." As he sees Izuku, how should I put this? Yeah, he's basically gutted and he's coughing up major amounts of blood. But as Stain said, "Well then, one down, two to go." Secretly glancing back towards Ida and Todoroki. As Izuku said, "Why?" As Stain turns around and says, "What?" Izuku says, "Why do you kill innocent people? Why do you kill heroes?" As Stain thinks, this kid's got a valid point. As Stain basically goes off explaining that he kills heroes because some of them just want the money and the fame, thinking they can do whatever they want. And yeah, basically his whole spiel. But as Izuku took his last breath, he basically saw Stain chasing the others. As Izuku said, "No, guys." As everything fades to black. Now we cut off to a void of sorts. Endless purplish void. Izuku wakes up in this and says, What the hell was that?" Grasping as it, basically touching his stomach and feeling that he's basically not gutted anymore. No scar, no wound, nor nothing. As he hears a voice say, "You have so much to live for, boy. So I'm giving you a second chance. You will have to grow in this universe. And once you reach the age that you are now, you will return to your world and save as much people as you want." As Izuku says, "What? Who's saying that?" As this voice basically says, "God." As Izuku gets sucked into a bright light. And then wakes up. He feels strange, like he's grown a lot of hair for some reason. And he feels something behind him. As Izuku says, "Ow, my head." As basically, he hears someone say, "Look, his first word." As Izuku turns around to see, well, what appears to him as a wolf with hooves. I'm not talking about Ambulocetus or anything, or any kind of first whale. I'm talking about the entalodon here. Because when I searched up when was entalodon discovered, it was in China or Mongolia. Yeah. As he sees another one, and Izuku got a good glimpse of it. Its skull and teeth resembled that of a wolf mixed with a warthog. Its back resembled that of a hyena. And its posture was similar to that to a hyena. Now, I don't know if entalodons' skeletons were positioned the same way as hyenas. I'm just speculating. But anyway, as he sees a big adult, as in like, he's practically how should I put this? A piglet? Yeah. Even though entalodon is more closely related to hippos, I'm calling the babies piglets, because why not? Reminds me of that old show, Winnie the Pooh. Ow. As this basically adult male says, "Aw, he kind of looks like me for some reason, eh?" As this, other one says, "Hush, he's just started walking, okay? He's been blind for most of his life. This is the first time seeing us, eh?" As Izuku says, "Who are you?" As this, I'm just gonna call them hell pigs, because to Izuku's mind, they resemble warthogs from hell. Anyway, as this, what appears to be a female variant of the first one, the second one he saw, it says, "I'm your mother." And by the way, I'm not giving the, mother or father actual names. I'm just giving them the title of mother and father, because the whole Mesozoic thing, yeah, it was kind of cringe. But hey, I've been doing that on Path of Titans, writing down random words into names. So basically, the mother basically goes off explaining how it's basically his mother, and Izuku in his mind thinks, "Wait, have I been reincarnated? I thought that was a myth." As Izuku says, "Well, pleasure to meet you, Mom." As Izuku raises one of his hooves, as Mother says, "What is he doing?" As the father comes by and says, "Well, I'm not sure. Maybe he's stretching?" As Izuku says, "No, it's called a hoof shake, yeah." Trying to hide the fact that he he just woke up with hooves now, because you would be confused the same if you were a person and then all of a sudden, boom, you're a weird murderous hippo. Well, hippos are already murderous and violent. Anyway, as Izuku realizes he has siblings here, about 8 in total, making him the 9th. Sorry. One day he's venturing out into the field of Mongolia. As Izuku's running through the forest, or fields, as he's basically playing tag with his siblings. As his sister is basically chasing him, as in, I'm gonna catch you. As Izuku says, no, you're not. They keep chasing each other for quite some time, until his sister stops, and Izuku keeps running. His sister tries to call over to him. Wait! Brother? Oh no. As Izuku didn't hear anything and he keeps running. And eventually he bumps into something. Something big and hairy. Or, not hairy, but it's basically the same feeling when you touch a horse. Yeah. As Izuku says, ow, my head. What did I just bump into? As he's bearing witness to a calicotherium. Basically, picture a gorilla horse with claws of a monster. The animal that took the niche of Therizinosaurus after it became extinct. As this adult male calicotherium turns his head around to see a tiny entalodon. As this adult calicotherium says, "You lost, kid." As Izuku says, no. As this adult calicothere says, I can smell a lie a mile away. As Izuku thinks in his head, Jesus, did he have the bells of Notre Dame between his legs? As this calicotherium says, hey, you listening to me? Basically, not doing the gorilla chest pound, but slamming his fist onto the ground. As Izuku says, I'll be going now. As, the calicotherium says, yeah, get lost. As Izuku's running back to, his family of sorts, and he bumps into his sister along the way, Izuku explaining what happened to him, as, his sister is just shocked that he survived a calicothere encounter. Usually their claws are able to, how should I put this? Kebab a pig. Yeah. As, he continues on to get to his family, as Izuku tries not to tell anything to his mother or father. But his sister being the snitch she is, she basically explains everything to her parents. As the mother is just glad that Izuku's okay. The father is basically kind of disappointed, but hey, when you're young, you make mistakes. I ate pseudo-creme. Anyway, as one day, Izuku is basically laying down, resting, as he hears a commotion going on. It sounds like his father and someone else. He gets up from his little den and checks outside. He sees his father fighting with another entalodon. As he wakes up his mother and says, "Mom, what is Dad doing?" As his mom opens her eyes and says, "Oh, your father is fighting someone challenging for the right of mating." As his sister comes by and says, "What did I miss? Whoa, is Dad fighting him?" As his mother says, "Yes, dear, now shush." As she says, "Oh, come on, can I at least get a camel?" As her mother says, "No. Wait till you're older." As she basically gives off a frown. Izuku is watching in fear because this is not like a fight. You know, with a punch there and a kick here. No. This is a full-on hippopotamus fight, where they basically open their mouths and just charge at each other. As the challenger runs off with many broken teeth, and he runs off yelling, "I'll get my revenge. I'll be back." As his father says, "Yeah, in hell." As his father comes back to the family and says, "Now, honey, I could see that the kids were watching." As he notices Izuku hiding in, how should I put this? A camel carcass, because camel remains have also been found in Mongolia, where entalodons live. Yeah, he's basically hiding in the remains of a camel. As he basically says, "Son, there's no need to be afraid." As Izuku says, I know, it's just so much blood." As he gets a minor flashback of the day he was gutted by Stain. Yeah. And they basically live like any entalodon would, just trying to survive, eating camels, fighting rivals, and all that. But everything changed when Izuku was 12 years old. And right now, Izuku's fur of sorts is mostly green, but you can see slight green highlights in him. He has spots on his face, or freckles or speckles. They resemble that of hyena spots. And his eyes are pure green. Yeah. Sorry. As Izuku walks out of his part of the den and says, "Is Dad fighting someone again?" As he sees his dad trying to fight a Calicotherium, as he says, "You're not touching this part of my territory." As the Calicotherium says, "Quiet, I've been searching for anything to eat, but I cannot live with you pests constantly hunting my kind just for food on their head." As this Calicotherium looks similar to the one that Izuku encountered all those 10 years ago. As Izuku's watching it in horror, as his dad is scarred from that face, from the left side of his face. His father falls down and appears to be dead. As Izuku is basically yells out, "No!" and runs over to his dad's body, trying to shake him awake. As this Calicotherium says, "I know you." As Izuku says, "Why? Why would you kill my dad? Eh?" As the Calicotherium says, "Because to my kind, he is known as the Butcher. He goes out scurrying into the night, hunting many of our foes. Then, when we're not looking, he snatches them and rips their heads off and takes their bodies away. But for some reason, he's been leaving their heads in front of their parents. So why not leave his head in front of your family?" As Izuku says, "Over my dead body." As the Calicotherium says, "That can be arranged." As he charges towards Izuku with, such speed that it's equivalent to a stallion galloping. As Izuku dodges the attack, and the Calicotherium thinks, "Jesus, he's faster than a normal entalodon." And he basically goes for a bite to the leg. The Calicotherium yells out in pain, "Ow! Why, you little," as he bucks him. Yeah, the same way how a person would get bucked by a horse in the head. Big oof. Major big oof. As Izuku is basically unfazed by this, because if you don't know, entalodons have robust and thick skulls. Not yak thick, but strong enough to impact a horse kick. But this is a Calicotherium, but they're bigger. So let's say he's stronger than a regular entalodon, yeah. As Izuku says, "You done yet?" As the Calicotherium says, "No, I'm just getting started." As Izuku continues on trying to fight him, until he gets an idea in his head. Go for the neck. Of course. Why didn't he think of that sooner? The tricky part was trying to avoid the claws, but let's see what he thinks. So Izuku's dodging the attacks from hoof swift to claw strike. As the Calicotherium continues this until sundown. It's sunset, it's the classic sunset look. As this Calicotherium's getting majorly tired because they had the body of that of a ground sloth. as this Calicatherium is panting. Stop moving, you overgrown warthog. As Izuku says, no, I'm just getting started, eh? As the Calicatherium is trying to strike, but his arms are too exhausted and he falls to the ground. Unfortunately, he gets pushed over by Izuku onto his back, and Izuku says, any final words? As the Calicatherium says, just do it. As Izuku's about to make the strike, but suddenly stops when he gets an inch away from his neck. He thinks, what am I doing? I spended my whole first life trying to be a hero, and I'm trying to kill a guy, or a gorilla horse, that he's just angry that everyone of his children is dead. But he did kill my dad, right? Did he? As the Calicatherium says, go on, do it. As Izuku moves his head away and closes his mouth and begins to speak. No, I misjudged you. You were only angry because your children were murdered by my dad. I'm sorry. As basically Izuku lowers his ears in a upset dog. Like, you've seen those movies with those dogs that are very upset with those ears droopy? Yeah. Sorry. As he looks over to his dad's body, as it starts to move by breathing. As Izuku says, Dad? Dad, you're alive! As he goes over to his dad, who is now half blind due to the injury. As he says, son, I heard everything. As his dad says, we could have had a big meal. No. You decided to spare it. I'm disappointed in you, but who knows? Maybe he'll benefit us in a long time. As his dad is struggling to breathe with now a cracked nose, a exposed top jaw part, or mascula, and one blind eye. As Izuku says, oh, okay. As we cut to Izuku helping his dad to get into their den, as Izuku's mom is asleep with a new batch of piglets on the way. As Izuku thinks, well, now that it's turning night, might as well sleep. As his dad goes to his sleeping area, and Izuku is, on the way. His dad explained that he cannot sleep in the den anymore because he didn't get them the meal. Yeah. But anyway, Izuku 'Izuku 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 ' Now, this is the end, folks. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe if you want more, or dislike if you want. Hit the bell notification to be notified for more videos if you want. Anyway, goodbye.